Keyhole slots have been around forever, and are great for hanging things like picture frames and many other objects. And though the keyhole slot looks so simple, getting it cut straight and in a place where you really want it isn't so easy. Rockler's picture hanging keyhole slot template really does make this a simple task. Even more important is that this template lets you cut identical slots in the right position on both ends of a picture frame. In addition to the template, you need a good 3/8 inch keyhole bit and a 5/8 inch diameter guide collar, and I got both of these at Rockler. Each end of the guide collar slots has a smaller extension, and that's to let sawdust escape so the guide collar can move fully from one end to the other. I know this seems like a small thing, but it's very important to letting this template work correctly. This longer template opening is generally used for making horizontal slots that let you adjust the picture or an object horizontally on the wall. You really need to use a plunge router to use this kind of bit safely, so I'm going to put the guide collar in my plunge router base. It's important to be sure that at full plunge depth, the side cutter on the shank of the bit extends below the edge of the guide collar. The two shorter template openings are positioned so we can use the sides of the template itself aligned with the edges of the picture frame to place the cut. Then we can just turn the template end for end and use that on the other side, and it'll place the cut in exactly the same position on that side of the frame. And the easiest way to secure the template to the wood is with a couple of pieces of double-sided tape. Then we carefully align the edges of the template with the edges of the picture frame and stick it in place. When we make the cut, we put the guide collar in the bottom of the slot, plunge the router in, move it up to the top, and then bring it back and then shut it off. And we let the router stop fully before releasing the plunge. To start the cut, we set the guide collar in the beginning of the slot, start the router, plunge it down, lock it in the down position, then move it forward all the way to the end of the slot, and then pull it back to the end of the slot and shut the router off and wait for it to stop. When the bit is stopped turning, we can release the plunge mechanism and pull the router out. Then we can knock some of the sawdust out, pull the template off, and we can see that we got a very nicely cut slot. A little finish sanding will clean up any fraying we have around the edges of the slot, and it's ready for finish. This template really does make it that easy and that fast. I used to avoid using these kind of slots because you couldn't get them placed on both sides of the picture frame correctly, but the Rockler template makes that easy. So if you'd like to use these kind of slots for hanging your projects and don't want to drive yourself nuts trying to make them, you need to get the Rockler picture hanging keyhole slot template. It makes life a whole bunch easier.